Hi, welcome to another video of Nerdy Tech Tips channel. Today we are going to set up our Owncloud personal cloud storage. I have done this previously with the annoying music in the background. It was not actual installation. I was just using pre-configured VM image. So today I'm going to install it on Ubuntu manually. If this tutorial helps you, please don't forget to support by giving us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And stay tuned. So as usual, I do have a fresh installation of Ubuntu 20.04. Now you can do this exactly with 18 as well, but always try to go with the latest version available for Ubuntu. So let's get started. So very first thing we want to do is go into terminal. Once we open up terminal, we just get all the updates. Sudo get update, I believe it's apt update. I always get confused with get and apt. 178 packages can be upgraded, but we are not going to type upgrade to install all of them. The very first thing I always would like to do on any Hyper-V or any virtual machine is install OpenSSH. It makes things a little bit easier. So let's get it installed. Type sudo apt install OpenSSH-server. Hit yes. And the very next thing you want to do is you want to know what is the IP address of your Linux machine. Type ifconfig. Now you are going to get this error if you don't have NetTools installed. So let's get this installed first. Sudo apt install NetTools. It was pretty fast. So type ifconfig. Should be able to see the IP address now. As you can see, the IP address is 10.10.0.9. Now we don't need to open this virtual window here. We can close it down and head to our command prompt ssh. Type the username at 10.10.0.9. Hit yes and type in the password. Now we are logged in. Here we go. So we are going to install few components that are required before you even install Owncloud. So basically I'm going to use and take advantage of Apache. Instead of using nginx, is that how you say? I can't remember, but I like to go with Apache 2. So to install Apache 2, you need to type sudo apt install Apache 2. Type in your password, hit yes, and it will install the latest version available for Apache. Now, since we are finished with that, Owncloud is built on PHP and is typically accessed via a web interface. For this reason, we are going to install PHP 7.2. This command is a little bit long. I would recommend you to head down to the description, find a link below to our blog, and you should be able to find the full guide on our blog. So what I usually do is I just copy paste commands. In that case, when it comes to a really long command, which is to basically install Apache 2. Oh, not Apache 2, it's 7.2 PHP. It says unable to locate 7.2, has no installation candidate. In that case, what we are going to do is we are going to use a third-party repository. Now, to take advantage of that, to be able to use a third-party repository, you need to type this command. See it on the screen. You can also copy it from the description. Sudo space apt-get space install space software dash properties dash common and hit enter. One more command to go. Sudo space add dash apt dash repository dash ppa semicolon onrage / php. And that should do a trick. Once you have done that, you should be able to use the command that we were trying to use previously. And let's see if that one works for us this time. As you can see, no errors received this time. It is perfectly installing fine. Now I did fast forward that part. It's not that quick. It does take a little time and depends on your internet speed. After finishing with PHP installation, you make sure you install PHP curl. So for that, you need to type sudo space apt-get space install space curl. Now that is very important. If you're not going to install that, you're gonna go ahead and run into trouble. Now after that, using a command that I'm going to give you, if you have installed PHP 7.2 that I did, you would like to install a curl for PHP 7.2. So for that, you need to type sudo space apt-get install PHP 7.2 curl. Now make sure the version of PHP curl is same as you have installed the same version of PHP. If you have PHP 7.4, make sure you're typing 7.4 here for the curl to make it work correctly. And there you go. It says PHP 7.2 curl is already the newest version. Well, that's great. We no longer need that. It means it is installed. But usually if you don't have that installed, make sure you type this command. We're done with PHP. We're done with Apache. The last thing we would like to set it up, install a MariaDB server, which is MySQL based. So we are going to install MySQL server. So let's go ahead with that. That is the last bit we need before we go ahead and install Owncloud. Now to install that, type sudo space apt space install space MariaDB server. Hit yes. These warnings are just letting you know that it is going to use some additional space on your disk. The installation of the MariaDB server isn't that slow. It's pretty quick. And once you're done with that, you want to secure the installation of your SQL server. To do that, you type sudo space MySQL installation. And you basically enter current password for root. Enter for none. We don't have any password. It is going to ask us to set a root password. So I'm going to set a root password. Say yes. Type in a new password. Remove anonymous users. Yes. Disallow root login remotely. Yes. Remove test database and access to it. Yes. Reload privileged tables now. Yes. There you go. You get a message. Thanks for using MariaDB. We have finished installing and securing our installation. The very next thing you want to do is create a database. We haven't installed Owncloud, but we are going to create a database for Owncloud. So you type this command to go into MySQL. Sudo space MySQL space -u root space -p. Enter the password that we just set it up under secure installation. Remember that root password is for your database access. It's not for your Linux. It's not for your Ubuntu root password. Make sure that you remember that. Once we are done, we are into database. Now we can create and go ahead creating with the database. The very first thing, create database. Pretty simple. The command is very simple. All capital letters. Create space database. And then the name could be anything you would like to. In my case, I type Owncloud _DB. That's the name of the database. There you go. The next command, it's not tricky. It might look a little bit long. We are going to grant all the permissions to an Owncloud user at a local host identified by a strong password. In my case, my strongest password is 1234. As you can see over the screen, this is the exact command you need to type. You need to worry about only two things. You need to make sure the name of the database you're typing here correctly as you previously created here. And second thing, we are going to create a user, which is Owncloud _user. Now you can type anything here. You could type, in my case, I could type nerdy here at localhost. Now, make sure when you're creating a user, this is localhost, because if your MySQL server is located on a different virtual machine or it's remotely somewhere else, you type the IP address. Otherwise, in our case, we're typing localhost. It's identified by this. This is a password. When it says identified by, it means it's talking about a password. So in my case, my password is 1234. Pretty strong, huh? And then you hit enter. There you go. No errors. So far, we have been very lucky. Well, after finishing with the installation, not quite yet. We need to flush the privileges, right? And then let's get out of it. We got a user, we got a database, we got a password on it. Pretty strong password. It says bye. There you go. Now we get on with installing Owncloud. To install Owncloud, we are going to download it. As you can see, to download something, to install, we use apt install. And if you're downloading a file, you use wget. That's the command. And then you type the location or link of the file that you would like to download. That's how Linux works. So in our case, this is a pre written guide that I'm using on my blog that I'd done previously, and that time Owncloud was running 10.4.0. We're going to change that. We need to make sure that we are downloading the community version, but the latest one. So for you, it will be pretty simple. You can simply type Owncloud or go to owncloud.com. Once you head there, you go to product. I will show you what I'm doing. Yeah, you go to product, and we are going to here find the guides. Let's see, documentation and guides. We are basically looking for installation options. You can see, here we go. The latest version is 10.5. We're not going to copy from here. You don't want to do that. I have done that multiple times. For some reason, I haven't been able to install it properly. It always runs into trouble. You can give it a try if you're good with Linux. You might be able to do it. But in my case, I wasn't. So I just checked the version here. Went to my command prompt. Just change 4 to 5. And there you go. Keep the link same. And download. As you can see, it's downloading a file. Now, it also depends on your internet speed. It might take a little while for you if you got like 10 Mbps or 100 Mbps. In my case, I've got a little bit of faster internet, but still I'm getting very low speed. So it's doing fine. It's not going to take a while, maybe a few seconds. There we go. We have finally downloaded the file. It's a zip file. To unzip anything is pretty simple in Linux. You just type unzip, the name of the file, which is over here file, and D is for directory. Right now, we are going to unzip this into var/www. It's a folder where is our Apache running. So let's unzip there. Once we have finished unzipping this, we are going to set some permissions, which is sudo chown -r. Just copy this command. We're setting permissions so we do have access to this Owncloud, read and write and everything. We're going to do that as well. For now, just copy that command and hit enter. And there is another permission, which is 755. We're done with that as well. The next thing we want to do is we want to edit a config file in Owncloud. To do that, I'm not going to use Vim. I like to use Nano. I'm just used to it. As you can see, this is empty. Now, if you go into the actual guide that I do have on our website, you could copy this from there. Or you need to type exactly what's written here. It'll be pretty simple. Now, to save any Nano editing file, you hit Nano is kind of a notepad in Linux. This is a notepad version. To save that, you hit Ctrl+O and hit enter. And Ctrl+X to exit out of the file. Pretty simple. Next, you need to enable all the required Apache modules and the newly added configuration by running these commands. You could find these commands on the guide as well. They will be listed pretty closely. All you just need to do is copy and paste, as I am doing here. I'm even slow with copying and pasting. Here we go. We are almost done. There we go. Now we're going to restart our Apache web server. To do that, you type this command. And also make sure whenever you restart your Apache 2, it is running automatically. It's kind of an auto startup. Type this command to make it auto start. Here we go. Let's see. So the IP address. Let's see. Make sure we know the IP address. It's 10.10.0.9. All right. 10.10.0.9. Maybe we need to type Owncloud. There we go. There we go. See, if you have followed all the steps properly, you should be able to get that page. Once you're on that page, you need to click on storage and database, and under configuration of the databases, you need to click on MySQL/MariaDB. Now, remember we did create a database and a user, everything. It's pretty simple. In my case, the database name was Owncloud_DB, right? And also the user was just _user. Password was pretty strong, which was 1234. It is at localhost. Usually, they are telling you that this is the port that is being used. When you type localhost, you don't need to type the port. But you can specify the port if you have changed the port details, or you are running your MySQL server remotely on a different virtual machine. Well, you might be using port forwarding or whatever your setup is if you got a MySQL server. After typing all the details, make sure you create an admin user. You type admin and then type strongest password that I've got, 1234, as you can see, and finish with setup. And we hope we don't get any errors. And here we go. It seems to have already set it up. Let's see. Admin 1234. Here we go. If you're seeing that screen, Well, congratulations, you have finished installing Owncloud. If you like this video and you have been able to install Owncloud by yourself, well, that's wonderful. Make sure you share this video and like and subscribe, because that helps me a lot. I would be able to create more helpful tutorials, and it will help me a lot because I'm a single dad and I'm trying to build up my YouTube channel. A subscribe would be a big help. Thanks for watching. You have a wonderful day.